Jonathan Turley, Fox News contributor, George Washington University law professor and constitutional law attorney, and Andrew Cherkasky, former federal prosecutor. Welcome to you both. Jonathan, I'll get your top-line thoughts here as this news breaks. I want to read you directly from Justice Sotomayor's, from her decision, her dissent, along with Jackson and Kagan in this case, that if a president, quote, orders the Navy's SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival, immune. Organizes a military coup to hold on to power, immune. Takes a bribe in exchange for a pardon, immune, 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 immune. Were her words in her dissent. Your reaction at this hour?
Well, I think the problem with the dissent is that it doesn't show the same vigor in looking at the opposing view. President Obama ordered the killing of an American citizen by simply declaring him to be a terrorist without a trial. Clearly, Justice Sotomayor does not appear alarmed about that, and presumably would view that within a core function. So what the majority was trying to do here is to find something in the middle. They did not embrace the Trump sweeping arguments. They did not embrace the lower court's arguments sweeping in the other direction. But this is a major victory for the former President Trump. The language here is highly favorable to him. They even go into his January 6th speech and say that presidents are expected to speak passionately and publicly about issues of importance. This was an issue of great importance, and goes on to say that when the president speaks to the vice president, this is part of the president's official conduct. All of these statements are important because the court is giving navigational beacons for a lower court judge who is proven very favorable towards the special counsel, very motivated in getting a trial before the election. And these beacons are a bit more narrow than we expected. They're giving some very clear language and a heavy burden for Jack Smith. Now, he's not likely to go quietly into that night, but he's going to have a heck of a time trying to satisfy this burden.
Jonathan, thank you for that. Andrew Cherkasky's on set here. Jonathan, you just heard from Jonathan, you heard from Shannon. This is being seen as a major win, not only for the former president himself, but for the Trump campaign. And the timing of all of this, obviously, is crucial. Your reaction?
I think this totally guts Jack Smith's prosecution. And it's something that some of us have seen for a very long time coming. The idea that a president doesn't have this broad sweeping immunity would create all sorts of issues for presidents in the future and potentially in the past for acts that have been committed in the past. Now, what the court has done is they've essentially created a hierarchy. Those acts that are within the constitutional authority of the president, immune. Those that are official, those perhaps have to go back to lower courts for further analysis. And the court does say unofficial acts have no immunity to it. But I think what we have to look at is that middle category. And it really does break down the idea that at least two of the remaining charges, and last week's case in Fisher likely will eliminate 2 out of the 4 of the charges against Donald Trump right now. So really they have kind of 2 charges left. I think Jack Smith is going to have to go through, probably create a superseding indictment, send that back to the court for their new analysis under this new standard. That may go all the way back through the appellate courts, even up to the Supreme Court, to see if the lower court analyzed that correctly before we're ever talking about a trial. So I think that even the idea that this could make it to trial with the little bit that remains, I don't think is likely, because I think this is going to go all the way back through the appellate system.
Jonathan, give me your reaction to that. And also, I want to highlight something you put out in the moments following this on the no protection for unofficial acts. So the issue is whether or what constitutes official acts. It is very much for Trump in the sense that the court rejected the lower court and recognizes some immunity. That will further delay the lower court proceedings, to Andrew's point. But Trump will have to argue that his actions fall within these navigational beacons. How do you see that playing out specifically?
Well, I think that this goes back with a heavy advantage for Trump on those questions because of the language used by the court. It is clearly telegraphing that there is a heavy presumption here, not just in terms of the general constitutional standard, but this specific case. Many people expected the court to avoid the specifics in the case. It did not. And it left language to guide this court. Now, in terms of how this plays out, even with a judge who's been quite favorable to the special counsel, it's going to be difficult to satisfy this burden, particularly with regard to things like the January 6th speech, which the special counsel has referred to a great deal. Many of us believe that President Trump was protected entirely in that speech under the First Amendment. The court is saying here that he also may be protected as a point of presidential duties, that it's expected for presidents to be able to speak on these types of issues. So going forward, it's going to get tough because Jack Smith is known as someone who tends to double down on weak hands. I mean, he's not someone that yields readily to a president. That's why he was unanimously overturned in a previous high-profile case. So he's just, what's interesting about this case is that this is following a haymaker in Fisher, which could knock out 2 of the 4 counts in D.C., but not necessarily. Justice Jackson gave him a roadmap of how he might still be able to argue obstruction. I wrote a column today saying that if he follows Judge Jackson's advice, I think he will be overturned again. But he may still try to keep this on the runway to take off. I personally think that these 2 opinions have ripped the wings off his case. But Jack Smith is someone who does not readily yield to these types of setbacks.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.